Hello viewers, so in today's video we're looking at how I, the longboarding expert, are gonna pick a downhill setup. This is the first in a series of videos where I pick a couple different setups to 3 different riding styles. Okay, let's get started. So, what are the 3 different riding styles that we're gonna be looking at? So the first is downhill, which is what today's video is going to be focused on. The second one is free riding, and the third, downhill and free riding, a combination of both, sort of best of both worlds type of thing. And we're going to be looking at it from 2 points, basically from someone with a limited budget of about like $200 to $300, or someone with an unlimited budget where the sky is just the limit, can buy whatever it is that you want. And just a word of warning, this isn't the perfect way to pick a deck. It's how I do it. It's about what I'm looking for personally. But maybe you can learn something from this video and, pick something from it. So, yeah. Let's just take a moment to appreciate this very clickbaity title. I hope it's pulled in many a viewer. Anyway, so we're starting with downhill this week. So what is downhill? Well, the definition for downhill is very broad. But in this case, for me, it's going to be aggressive hands down riding, skating fast, tucking down most of the hill, doing mostly pre-drifts or pendies or whatever, stuff like that. I've decided to play some stuff in the background here for you guys, but pay attention, do not be distracted. You promise, yeah? Okay, good. Lol, I'll probably get distracted myself if I'm being honest. Anyway, so for downhill, we gotta ask, what do I want from a setup? Personally, I want something that's gonna be relatively easy to skate, that's gonna be pretty maneuverable, but also pretty stable. With those 2 things in mind, we can sort of know what to pick. I also want something that can handle some pretty grippy wheels. So we're going to be starting off from the perspective of having a limited budget. If you remember, around like $200, $300, and go from there. I always like to start with the trucks, and once you get the trucks down, it's easy to form a board around it, wheels around it, and yeah. So for trucks, we're really limited to either new cast trucks or second-hand forged trucks. Either of those is going to set us back about like $50, or second-hand forged trucks about like $100. But really, you might get lucky, maybe get something for cheaper, but that's typically what we're looking at. So let's go to Sigboards here and see what they have in terms of downhill. All right. Also, this video is not sponsored by Sigboards. They're just, I think, the biggest longboard sale website available. Actually, you know what? Let's go to slideperfect.com. Let's support a homie. Let's do that, bro. Let's support a homie. Okay, so here we go. So we need our trucks first. So I'm a big fan of the Bergen 6 and Caliber 3 trucks. So that's probably what I'm going to be going for. I prefer to have my downhill setup a little bit narrower. So I'm going to go for the 154mm Caliber trucks. Let me just put that together. So we got my trucks set up, 44 degree caliber 158mm. Pretty good. Quite expensive, man. 73 quid. It's quite a bit. But at 44 degrees, I plan on de-wedging the back to about 40 or about 35 and wedging the front to about 50. This will give me like a 35 degree setup. It's going to be directional. The split angle base plates are going to give me a board that's maneuverable but still turny. Now for our deck, I want something that's going to have a wheelbase of about 23 inches to about 25 inches. 24 inches is the sweet spot on cast trucks, and on base plate angles that aren't super low, 24 inches is really good. You get a good balance of stability and maneuverability, especially with the split angle plates paired with it. And in terms of wheels, I'm going to be going with pretty wide ones. Let's say Magnums, but running them flipped, Quay wheels, some of the Slide Perfect wheels, Cheetahs, those are very race dedicated wheel. Maybe the Mach 1 Cannibals, so they're going to be pretty wide. So I'm going to be looking for a deck that has a width of around 9.5 or 9.3 inches. Okay, so something like the Ranger could probably work. Let's check out the specs. But yeah, 9.6, that's pretty good. 24 inch wheelbase. It's on sale. Amazing, fantastic, great. And of course, our deck is also speed stiff as hell. It's not flexy. Flexi decks aren't the best for going pretty fast. And in terms of wheels, it doesn't really matter what specifically. I've sort of gotten a good range with the width of my deck, but I might be going for something like the Seismic Alphas or like the orangutan kegels and stuff like that. So it doesn't really matter, but let's pick one anyway. Yeah, let's go with I'll go with the kegels. And to save a bit of time, I've gone ahead and added some Zillus bearings and the dark matter grip tape. All of that comes together to about 273 pounds. If you were to convert that directly, that's like what, $350. But you also have to consider that a lot of this gear is imported into the UK and a lot more expensive. But yeah, it kind of fits our budget. And there you have it. That's sort of what I would be picking for a downhill deck. Now, the deck is top mounted, which I like, but I probably wouldn't like it. But I also know that I can sell it or trade it with someone else, and that's a pretty important part, because an important part of like downhill and learning about what you like is experimenting with different things. So I always find it's easier to sort of like bite the bullet and go for a deck even if you're not 100% sure on it. Same thing goes with trucks and wheels, and also you can get a ton of stuff secondhand. So that's where I'm thinking with all of this stuff. Now we're looking at setups where the sky is the limit in terms of what I can spend. Now, with having that much freedom, what I want from a setup is a setup that's perfect. That's perfect for downhill, that I can skate fast, I can take tight corners with it, that's super stable, and that feels good. Now, with an unlimited budget, I can pretty much afford any trucks that I want. I'm typically going to be going for precision trucks, and those cost around $400 to about $600 depending on what you get. So I'm going to be going with a truck like the Bear Smokies. These, I know I've skated them, they're like pretty good, they're stable and they're maneuverable. Like, what else can I want? But the thing about the Smokies, they're actually slalom downhill trucks, and they're designed to be skated on wheelbases around 21 inches to 23 inches. So for that, I'm going to need a deck that can accommodate that. For example, the Blaze PT, the Pro model of Clayton Authors, works pretty great with that. And because they're only as well about like 120 millimeter wide, they need a board that's also fairly narrow, and this is 9 inches wide. So we're going to be going with this, getting the deck only. So that's running us about $619. That is actually pretty expensive. Yeah, I went ahead and I picked out some wheels. I really want to try these, some Zillus bearings and some grip tape as well. You know, you're skating really grippy wheels on a small board, you want to be locked in. Your skate unfortunately doesn't have any foot stops in stock, so I couldn't really pick one. But yeah, this is typically what I would go for, and it would work well. So how much is that running us? So that's running us about like $756, which isn't too bad. But yeah, you know, this setup would be used to skate at like my absolute best. You know, I'd be using it to really push my limits and skate really hard, and yeah, it's gonna be good for that. And yeah, that is pretty much how I would structure, you know, how I'd go about buying a complete. And really, the limited budget setup is going to be a bit more friendly for beginners, but the unlimited budget setup is targeting people who want maximum performance. And, you know, you don't really want maximum performance when you're just starting out. You just want something that's friendly and that's going to allow you to get to grips with things pretty easily. And I hope you guys have enjoyed this video. Make sure you like and subscribe. This is going to be a series. I am going to then cover downhill, which I've done downhill. I'm going to then cover freeriding, and then a mix of both, and my mentality going into those setups, and maybe you can learn something else. Let me know what you thought about this one. Let me know what you think about the quality of this video, whether you like the format or whatever. But yeah, generally this was fun to make, and hope you guys have enjoyed this video from your neighborhood longboarding expert, you know. And yeah, catch you guys in the next one. As always, big thanks to Patreon subscribers, everyone who likes the video, everyone who watches the video, all that good stuff.